Good Friday evening, September 5th, and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Here are a few of the stories we have coming up for you tonight. Washington's state health officer signed an order Thursday making anyone in the state eligible for COVID-19 vaccinations without consulting their doctor. A portion of Northwest Cascade Avenue in East Wenatchee will be closed beginning on Monday for water repairs. Smoke, clouds, and a chance for thunderstorms in your Saturday weather, with thunderstorms possible Sunday as well. Your full local weather forecast is coming up. A complex incident team is now in charge of the Lower Sugarloaf Fire in Chelan County, as well as the Labor Mountain Fire near Cle Elum. The Lower Sugarloaf is now more than 7,000 acres and straddling the mountains between Leavenworth and the Upper Chumstick area on the west and the Eniat and Mad River valleys on the east. Evacuation notices remain in place around the fire perimeter, including a Level 3 alert in the Upper Mad River region near Arden, warning residents to depart immediately. No structures are known to have been lost, but Fire Manager James Osborne gave an online briefing this morning saying community protection is at the forefront even as resources are stretched thin across the Northwest.
We're looking at 7,700 and I believe 81 acres overnight. That was an increase of 634 acres from yesterday's fire growth. But folks have made some decent progress, especially in and along the head here up on Mosquito Ridge. We were able to get a bit of fire line in there and some real strategic firing operations to create some black lines and get some things hooked on a little bit of a corner to create an anchor on this head fire that was moving down drainage, down canyon. We do understand that there's a lot of values at risk, fairly far out, but we do understand how fire moves on this landscape. Starts up high. We get the diurnal flows that pull fire down towards the communities and towards the Columbia River. And then as the weather change that's coming, we've been under a real hot, dry, high pressure, and we know that high pressure is breaking down over the next day or two. And obviously the winds will increase with that, and so we're concerned about this large fire footprint, moving down towards the communities, and so we're working to get strategic plans in place and work with the fire districts and emergency management to ensure folks are out of the way as that weather change comes in. We will work to pick up the pieces on what that looks like afterwards, and then work to increase a smaller footprint and get as close to this fire and put it out as small as possible. That is the intent, but based on fire behavior the last few days, that's been a challenge for us. So we'll work to get information out and develop a strategic plan. We're ordering resources. I know lots of times folks, when they don't see aircraft flying, folks think that we're not doing what we can, and I will say there are a lot of incidents across the Pacific Northwest. There's been lightning over the last several days through the geographic area, and our air tankers, helicopters, and those sort of things are spread thin. So we will work to get what we can brought to this incident to help support and again keep it as small as possible.
Washington State's health officer signed an order Thursday making anyone in the state eligible for COVID-19 vaccinations without consulting their doctor. New federal rules adopted last month approve the coronavirus vaccine only for people 65 or older or those with complicating health conditions. Health Officer Taekwon Get approved the order, which gives all Washingtonians the right to get the COVID shot without any diagnosis or prescription, and gives legal approval for pharmacists to administer it. Anyone turned away from receiving a COVID-19 vaccination can also file a complaint with the State Department of Health. As students adjust to back to school, a new yard sign campaign is helping remind drivers to do the same. The Slower is Safer initiative aims to promote safer driving habits in school zones and residential areas. The campaign is a collaboration between the Wenatchee School District, the Washington Traffic Safety Commission, and local law enforcement to improve safety at school crossings. Yard signs will be displayed around Wenatchee school zones to build awareness. The initiative coincides with high visibility enforcement efforts focusing on speeding in school zones, seatbelt use, and distracted driving. 100 years ago today, a Wenatchee community was nearly washed away by a massive flash flood. The town of Appleyard sat at the mouth of Squilchuck Canyon and was home mostly to workers on the Great Northern Railroad. A culvert built to divert floodwater proved insufficient when a sudden downpour fell in the mountains on September 5, 1925. It sent a 20-foot wall of water down the valley, killing 16 people, derailing 6 locomotives, destroying homes and businesses, and leaving many victims injured. The bodies of 2 people were never recovered and were presumed to have been washed into the Columbia. More than 150 rescue workers responded to help after the catastrophe. When we come back, this year's biggest fundraiser for the Wenatchee Valley Museum and Cultural Center takes place this Saturday, and the city of Wenatchee is selling 4,000 cubic yards of surplus soil that has been stockpiled by its water and utility departments over the years. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
Your favorite local channel is now available for free on your smart TV and connected streaming devices. Watch live programming and catch up with the latest shows on demand. See the local stories that matter to you. NCWLIFE, now on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV.
Raising a family may have seemed overwhelming to your parents, but they weren't. Coach, teacher, life guide, caregiver. Family takes care of family. And as the circle of life continues, you now are their caregiver. It may seem overwhelming, but we're here to help you find the support services necessary so you can provide quality care to your elders.
Call Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington at 1-800-572-4459.
Central Washington Water understands the power of healing waters. If part of your wellness routine includes hot heat from a sauna, Central Washington Water now carries indoor and outdoor infrared and hot rock saunas by Tilo. Research shows there are many health benefits to a cold plunge after a good workout or relaxing time in your sauna. Harness the power of water in a hot spring spa, plug-and-play spas, a Tilo sauna, or a cold plunge tub. Stop by Central Washington Water, your wellness experts.
The year's biggest fundraiser for the Wenatchee Valley Museum and Cultural Center takes place this Saturday. It's the annual Night at the Museum benefit starting at 6 p.m. The $75 to $90 ticket price gets you into the festival event featuring live music, wine tasting, and a full tour of the museum facilities. NCWLIFE's Dan Kuntz spoke with organizer Shannon Janes.
For folks who have been to Wenatchee Wine and Food Fest before, it's a mini version of that, sort of. We've got both of the museum buildings will be open, which is really cool. So you get to kind of walk through all of the different exhibits. We'll have 2 stages. We'll have our photo booth, which will be hosted by a semi-famous local celebrity. I won't reveal that person's name.
You probably haven't asked him yet.
No, I have. I'm keeping it a surprise.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to have a magician.
Oh, yeah.
So doing some close-up
Jason's
magic.
very good.
Jason's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, that'll be really cool. And then we've got live art, too. Henry Stinson will be doing a live painting, and you can bid on it. It's a silent auction item, so you can kind of come back and check on his progress and maybe adjust your bid if you want to, which I think will be really cool.
A portion of Northwest Cascade Avenue in East Wenatchee will be closed beginning on Monday for water repairs. The closure will affect 31st Street Northwest to 29th Street Northwest and is expected to last until next Wednesday. Douglas County says the East Wenatchee Water District needs to make urgent and critical upgrades to water service to the area of Cascade View Court. The county says the safest and most efficient way to do so is to close the road. A detour route and local access will be available. The city of Wenatchee is selling 4,000 cubic yards of surplus soil that has been stockpiled by its water and utility departments over the years. The first come, first served sale began on Tuesday and will cost customers $20 per cubic yard plus tax. All of the soil has been tested and has clean results. The soil will be available until sold out, and city employees will help load it up. Interested customers can call Water Supervisor Will Weems to purchase and schedule pickup. That phone number is 509-888-3233. Coming up next in tonight's feature story, we spotlight FFA and 4-H youth about what it takes to raise a farm animal to show for prizes and for sale. Smoky conditions are still expected on Saturday with rain in the forecast as well this weekend. I'll have all your local weather details coming up, as well as Eric Granstrom with tonight's sports report as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues right after this.
Your favorite local channel is now available for free on your smart TV and connected streaming devices. Watch live programming and catch up with the latest shows on demand. See the local stories that matter to you. NCWLIFE, now on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV.
There's no place like home, because home is where we're totally comfortable. It's where we can be ourselves and let our guards down. It's where we make memories, and we're always imagining new ways to keep it totally comfortable. Carrier, total comfort, totally happy.
Call Alpine Air Heating and Cooling today. Your comfort is their priority.
School's back, but this is the kind of math we like. Over 100 slices of pepperoni, one giant Abby's pizza feeds up to 6 hungry people. That's A+ value, toppings to the edge. That's been the Abby's way since forever. Now go do your homework. When someone says, bring home the bacon, we know what they mean. They want Abby's legendary Bacon Cheddar Pizza, loaded with country bacon and packed with Canadian bacon. On sale now at abbys.com. This month, bring home the bacon at family-owned Abby's.
Rising temperatures and smoky conditions weren't keeping students in blue jackets from the Chelan County Fair. Those jackets are the uniform of FFA, formerly known as Future Farmers of America, which has chapters at schools not only around north central Washington, but nationwide. Leading up to the fair, FFA members and 4-H youth have been raising farm animals to show for prizes and sale. In tonight's feature story, NCWLIFE News met with 3 participants from the Eastmont School District yesterday as they finished setting up for this weekend's events at the Cashmere fairgrounds and heard all about what it takes for the students to get there.
My family's always been super invested in agriculture, and my brother was in FFA and it just seemed really fun, so I joined it. My grandpa raised lambs and then my cousins and my brother, so I just had all the supplies and I really like lambs out of other animals. You feed them twice a day. You have to pick out a feed. I use Sunglow because I just like what's in it. Then you have to buy all your supplies and feed. I work with mine once a day. You mostly have to work with them at least once a day. You can work with them twice a day, but I usually just do that depending on the heat because it's not as good for them if you work with them when it's super hot out. Basically what I do is I just kind of walk them around in circles like I would in the arena, and then bracing them is basically just setting them up with their feet aligned, and then you kind of like hold their head up and they push on you, and it kind of just gets them to flex their muscles. So that builds muscle. My goal is to just like do well and get good ribbons. And I want to make enough money so that I can afford lambs next year.
I've shown other animals in the past, like rabbits and goats, but this is my first year doing pigs. There's a million things that can happen. You can't really go on vacation because they can get sick when you're away. I had that happen. You really just always have to be prepared. If you're a grand champion market hog, you're gonna make more than a blue or a red market hog, ribbon-wise and award-wise. So it really all depends on your buyers and how much people are looking to spend and how far they bid up. Really common numbers are $5 to $10 a pound. Some you see go for 20, some go for floor price, so it ranges from 5 to 20, really. I've seen a lot of people show pigs, and I like the style of how they're shown better than other animals. It's a little more fast-paced, just better for my liking. And you can make a little more money doing it, although it doesn't matter. It's just having fun and the experience you get from it.
With the pigs, it's very much, you have to be like focused and driven to, and obviously wanting to win and aggressive towards your goal. And with the smaller animals, you kind of just have to like relax and just put on a smile and a lot more questions. I'm showing my pig, my chicken, and my rabbit. So I have a lot going on, but I'm excited for it. It's a lot of work, especially through the winter and the summer, but I think it pays off for fair. I mean, going through this experience with your friends, it's really cool. I grew up doing 4-H, so I was always at the fairs anyways, and just seeing the kids in their blue jackets, I just aspired to be like that, and it was kind of just the next step into showing. It's been one of the best experiences in my high school career. I don't know what I would have done without it. I made most of my friends through it, and just, it's a community. It's really fun.
Time now for a check of your North Central Washington weather forecast. Hope you had a great Friday, and boy, don't have to tell you, it was a smoky and hazy Friday. This is pretty much what we dealt with throughout the day today. I didn't think we'd be as bad as yesterday, but it turned out being worse than yesterday. We stayed in the moderate category on the air quality index throughout most of the night last night, but boy, as we got a little bit farther into the evening, this is about 9 o'clock or 6 o'clock as we get into the unhealthy for sensitive group area. That's the orange color. And then if you look down about 9 p.m. last night, we jumped into that unhealthy category. And boy, we have just been there since then and throughout the day today. In fact, as far as our numbers go here in the Wenatchee area, here we are in this red circle, 157. And if you go over to the unhealthy category, that's 151 to 200. And we have been sitting there just about all day. Our surrounding areas, mostly in the unhealthy for sensitive group category, in the 100 to 130 category, but 150 is the magic number, which cancels all outdoor activities as far as sports and other activities. So as I mentioned, we have been at 157 throughout the day today, but boy, it didn't stop us from getting hot once again. High temperature unofficially out there at 93 degrees, 81 is where we should be for this time of year. Our record high, 97, and that was set back in 1990. 66 this morning, 10 degrees above where we should be for a normal low of 56, and our record low, 47, set in 1997. Sunrise 6:26 and sunset now, can you believe that? Right around 7:30. All right, as we get you into what we can expect for Saturday, temperatures will begin a slow cool down and some weather changes will happen Saturday as well. 89 for Moses Lake and Ephrata, 88 in Quincy, 87 Wenatchee and Entiat, and then a little bit warmer up Highway 97. 85, the high temperature in their upper elevations for Leavenworth tomorrow afternoon. So quite a cool down. We've been in the 90s for a good stretch of days now. Tonight, thick smoke will continue. We are seeing an area of low pressure and a pretty strong northwesterly mid-level flow. Not much wind at the surface. Low temperatures tonight, warm once again, right around 70 degrees. For Saturday, mostly cloudy. It will be smoky out there, and this is what we're keeping our eye on. A 40% chance of thunderstorms. That'll be tomorrow afternoon. High temperatures on the cooler side in the mid-80s for Saturday. On Sunday, mostly cloudy skies. I think most of the smoke will scour out of our area on Sunday, but we do once again have a 40% chance of thunderstorms all over eastern Washington. High temperatures again on Sunday, a lot like Saturday in the mid-80s. For your Monday, mostly cloudy, a 30% chance of rain, very light into the Cascades on Monday. The big news Monday, cooler temperatures. We will drop down into the low 80s for highs on Monday, and then on Tuesday, I've talked about it all week. This is our best chance for rain, mostly cloudy, a 50% chance of rain as low pressure pushes to the east. Boy, a wide swath of rain on Tuesday. The cool down will continue, mid-70s for high temperatures on Tuesday. For your midweek Wednesday, mostly cloudy skies. Low pressure continues its eastward trek. Another high pressure ridge is beginning to build in for Wednesday. Still about a 40% chance of rain. A little warmer Wednesday than Tuesday. High temperatures in the upper 70s. And then by the end of our forecast, there's that ridge of high pressure right over us. Mostly sunny. It's not going to get hot this time, just seasonal for temperatures with highs Thursday in the upper 70s. All right, your 7-day forecast, 71 overnight tonight. And then, boy, does our weather ever change as we get into the upcoming weekend. 40% of chance for thunderstorms both Saturday and Sunday, and we are hoping it's just rain and no lightning. 87 Saturday, 85 Sunday, and then just rain showers Monday through Wednesday. Tuesday, I think our best shot for steady rain, 50% and 76. And then by the time we get into the end of our forecast on Thursday, mostly sunny and seasonal with high temperatures of 79 degrees. And that's a look at your North Central Washington weather forecast. Coming up next, tonight's sports report with Eric Granstrom and more as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues right after this.
Handoff to Zielinski around the right side. Got away from one man, got away from two. Squirts between High school sports is back this fall on the NCWLIFE channel. Watch Eastmont, Wenatchee, and Cashmere games right here. Coverage is brought to you in part by our platinum supporter, Alpine Air Heating and Cooling. Also by Abby's Pizza, Apple Valley Honda, Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning, Global Car Care, and Highlander Golf Course and Grill. Watch high school sports on your local TV station, the NCWLIFE channel. Well, a good Friday to you. The poor air quality from forest fires across the Northwest are causing schedule issues for local athletic directors. Wenatchee's game that was scheduled tonight against Lake City has been moved to Saturday night at 7 o'clock. Mance's game against Cle Elum has been moved to Cle Elum. Eastmont's game Saturday against Bonnie Lake has been moved up to noon because of schedule changes in the Apple Bowl. In a release issued by Wenatchee and Eastmont this morning, changes have already been made. Wenatchee's freshman game's been moved to Lake City at 10 a.m. Eastmont's game in the Apple Bowl against Bonnie Lake, as we mentioned, has been moved to noon. Eastmont's freshman game against Bonnie Lake has been canceled. Wenatchee's JV girls soccer game against Cle Elum will be at Triangle Park at 4, while the varsity will play in the Apple Bowl at 4 o'clock. If air quality does not improve by tomorrow morning, Wenatchee's varsity girls soccer game will be moved to Sela. Wenatchee varsity football would be moved to Lake City. They'll also make a decision tomorrow morning early on whether Eastmont and Bonnie Lake will play at all tomorrow. Well, if Wenatchee kicks off the prep football season, it'll be against Lake City, and that'll be at the Apple Bowl tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Grant Olson and I will have the call. NCWLIFE channel will have the coverage with our pregame at 6:30. I got a chance to get out to practice yesterday, talk with Coach Taylor Mitchell and quarterback Ryan Branham about matching up with Lake City.
better condition now than we were a year ago going into that game. It is a next man up mantra, and I think they're in all three phases of the game. There's probably stuff we could have done better last year, and that's what typically happens when you lose, right? You look and evaluate all three phases. What could we have done differently? And I really think that we're an improved football team in all three phases. And that includes me as a head coach. I think all of our assistant coaches are in a better place now than they were a year ago. So I think that just puts our kids in a spot better spot to execute this year.
Talk about Lake City. You guys went there last year, didn't work out the way you wanted to. You had a bunch of cramping issues and things like that. As you prepare for them this year, what do you think?
We got to take care of our bodies the right way. Last year we had like 8 guys have to come out of the game because of cramps. We also had a lot of guys where it was our first time starting. Me, a couple receivers, a couple guys on defense. And so
how dry was your mouth when you went out there for your first snap?
It was pretty dry. I was pretty nervous, and I think with that season behind us, and now we have some guys where it's their first year starting, but most of our guys have had some experience, and I think we're going to take it to them this year and get that W.
Moses Lake got off to the right start last night in Oak Harbor, picking up a big 49-6 non-conference win. Davis also victorious on the road in Spokane, downing Rogers 28-14. Rest of the Big Nine schedule is North Creek at West Valley tonight, while Sunnyside hosts Skyline. Battleground visits Eisenhower. Eastmont set to host Bonnie Lake in its opener of the season schedule tomorrow. Well, hopefully. I got a chance to talk to Jay Foster and linebacker Logan Schmutzler about facing the Panthers in the Apple Bowl.
Well, last year they really did a nice job against us, shutting down our offense. We scored 14 points on offense, and we scored 21 on defense. Yeah. And so, obviously, I'd take it, but depend on it. Correct. Don't want to depend on it. So focusing on hanging on to the football, the things that we did last year to shoot ourselves in the foot. They were a physical team. They finished the season physically. So just getting prepared for that. Our stuff is so much lateral when we defend our offense, where theirs is just run downhill, knock the dog out of you, so just getting prepared for a different offense than what we've looked at all year.
Bonnie Lake, you guys played them last year. What do you take from that game last year to this year? I mean, defensively, you guys were kind of lights out.
Yeah, but we can't sleep on them like any team. I mean, we got to come in there ready to play because they're ready to play us. Obviously, they're going to hold a grudge. We just got to get there and play.
NCWLIFE is scheduled to bring you live coverage between Eastmont and Bonnie Lake tomorrow, 11:30 pregame, and kickoff coming up at noon. Well, College Place and Chelan both had their opponents bow out without enough players, so the two teams are meeting today. That game underway in Chelan. Cashmere is going to kick off their home campaign tonight against Wapato. There was question about the air quality there. Kai B at Royal, while Luke hosts Natchez Valley and Connell visiting Zilla. CWAC play tonight. Afraid is on the road to Prosser. Quincy is visiting Sela. Othello hosts Ellensburg. Grandview travels to Toppenish. East Valley hosts a non-league game against Pendleton. The Backyard Brawl back in Omak tonight, where the Pioneers will host their neighbors Okanagan. That's at 7 o'clock. Cascade on the road at Liberty Bell. That game is a go. Across the Bees tonight, Bridgeport at Mabton. Lake Roosevelt visits Colfax. Manson's game has been moved to Cle Elum, as we mentioned, and Reardon is in Brewster. Coming up tomorrow, Waterville-Mansfield plays at Pomeroy at 1 o'clock, while Eniet is hosting LaConner. On the prep girls soccer schedule, well, Eastmont was set to host Mount Spokane tonight, but poor air quality has forced cancellation there. Tonight, visits Chelan tomorrow morning at 11. The 1 o'clock matches have Quincy at Davis. Moses Lake hosts Post Falls. Cascade hosting Ephrata. Cashmere is home against College Place tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Wenatchee's set to host Sela. Well, that was going to happen at 7. Now it's at 4 o'clock. We'll keep our fingers crossed on that one. There are some intriguing early season matchups of prep volleyball tomorrow. Moses Lake hosts Hermiston. Chelan visits Ellensburg. That's a good one. Cashmere's hosting College Place. Wenatchee's on the road at Always Tough Linden. Preseason Western Hockey League schedule continues for the Wenatchee Wild. Tomorrow night, Wenatchee will host Tri-City Americans at the Town Toyota Center in their second preseason game. That will drop the puck at 6 o'clock at the Town Toyota Center. And if you have an appetite to see some boats destroyed, Wenatchee Valley Super Oval, the place to be tomorrow night. It is the bump to pass boat race destruction happening at the quarter-mile asphalt. In addition, racing will include Rockstar Energy B-Mods, Plum Perfect Roadrunners, Apple Valley Pumping Crown Vic stocks, Northwest Vintage Modifieds, and the B&T Towing Youth Roadrunners. Gates open at 4:30. Racing starts at 6 o'clock. Go to WVSO.com for more on that. That's a look at sports news. I'm Eric Granstrom. Have a happy Friday.
And that will do it for this edition of the NCW Life Evening News. For more news from around North Central Washington, you can find us at ncwlife.com, on our social media channels, or on our mobile app. And now you can watch all of NCW Life's 24/7 programming without cable. Our channel is available on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV. Download the NCW Life app to your devices and share the news with friends and family. You can email us with news tips anytime at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-6295. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks so much for being with us and have a great weekend.